Imagine waking up to find a python on your bed. This might seem like a scene out of a horror movie, but it was the reality of a student of Novena University, Ogume, Delta State. According to what was said, the young lady slept peacefully all night, only to wake up to find a strange creature hanging peacefully at the edge of her bed. It was said to have caused a big pandemonium as many students were forced out of the hostel, causing some of them to film in horror this strange occurrence. Now, to a lot of people, this might be unusual. Who wakes up to a snake on their bed? But for the people of Amai community where the school is located, this isn't something new. I am very familiar with Novena University, and I can tell you firsthand, this is not new. This is not the first of its kind. It's not the second, it's not the third, and no, it's not going to be the last. For the people of Amai community where the school is located, the pythons are basically the kings of the village. They are untouchable. No one is allowed to kill any of these, and if you do kill any one of these, either by accident, maybe when driving, you are obligated to treat them like a human being who had just passed. Which means you would have to buy a casket to bury them in, dig a grave, and basically get mourners to cry for this. And I assure you, there will be people who would genuinely cry because you had killed an important symbol of their community. Now, back to the girl that saw it in a hostel. Is it normal for the snakes to be coming into the hostel where students live? Well, it's a very normal occurrence, especially the female hostel. Back then, we were told that whenever such a thing happened, whenever a snake shows up in your hostel, the snake is just welcoming the students into the school. Based on calculation and based on how often this occurs, natives in the community has concluded that the snake usually shows up whenever there were new session of students. It's just its way of saying, welcome to my community. Hi, my name is Python, and you are in my land. So I hope you enjoy your stay here for the next 4 years. Unless you have an extra year, which would make it for the next 5 years. So if you don't want an extra year of this, you better read, pass, and get out of there. Another question is, what happens now after these students had discovered this? Simple. There are members of the community who you could call to take the snake out. You're not allowed to threaten the snake. You're not allowed to make the snake scared. You're not allowed to attack the snake. When such a thing happens, the students are advised to leave the hostel or leave the space where the snake is discovered. And then they call a community representative, someone who is familiar with the culture and someone who knows how to communicate with the snakes. And trust me, I have seen it in person how they communicate with the snake. It's quite interesting. They usually appease the snake, like the person I saw would speak in low tones, talking to the snake, and in his own explanation, he was just trying to tell the snakes that the students meant no harm and that the students were just scared and that he wants to take her or him home. So after a little pep word talk, the person reaches out to the snake, and surprisingly the snake doesn't even attack. They go on with this said representative, and that is how the snake is taken out of the school compound and put back into the bush, which is still connected to the school compound, which probably means that same snake might go back to that school compound. Regardless, that is how the snake is evacuated. Another question might be, have there been any situation when the snake attacked or killed or ate or swallowed any student? Well, none in record. Maybe it had happened, but no one in record. If the snakes has showed up to students 100 times, out of that 100 times, no student had been said to be hurt by the snake. It's a Burmese python, to be clear. Generally, Burmese pythons don't even go for human beings. They only eat rats, rabbits, lizards. So these kinds of snake can't eat or swallow a whole human being. Originally, in the real world, there's no record of the snake attacking or killing any students to the best of my knowledge. The last I remember of this, when I was there, the snake showed up in the toilet of a student while she was trying to use the bathroom. She had even finished using the bathroom when she discovered the snake. So it's unclear, but maybe she probably peed on the snake or pooped on the snake, but the snake didn't attack. And to be fair, there is no one in this world you pee or poo on that won't attack. So if the snake didn't attack, I guess the legends are right that these snakes usually just come around to welcome the new students, especially the female students. Another thing to clear out, some people say the people worship the snake. Well, I used to think so because there are so many villages in Delta State and across Nigeria where they have their deities. Some can be the iguana, some are the snakes, some also have other animals where they are sacred. However, a lot of these communities are dominated with Christians and believers and people who go to church. So it's hard to say these people worship the snake or depend on the snake for some kind of protection. I guess maybe it did at first in the early generations of the settlers of that community. But right now I can tell you that they don't exactly pray to the snake or worship it. It's just a symbol of honor, it's a symbol of the community, it's a deity. It's just one of those things that the new generation came to find that their predecessors had respect for. And judging by how it all started, they have their legend story, which I would share with you in a moment. I guess these people have enough reason to want to protect this symbol. Because again, the snake had not hurt anyone in the community. So there is no reason to want to hurt something that hasn't hurt you. Especially if that thing was probably there before your ancestors came. So what is the story behind the legend of the people not killing the python? Well, just for clarity, they kill other types of snakes, just not this type. So maybe if they saw a cobra, they would kill a cobra. If they saw a mamba, they would kill a mamba. But a Burmese python like this is sacred. From what I was told when I was there, some indigenes who came around the hostel kind of said that they were told that when the first settlers came, there was a war between two communities and the pythons were the ones who saved some babies. Because of that, they decided to, not kill them. Then there was another story about how the people of this community used to be a member of another community, but they were banished, more like a family on exile. And when the family was in the forest, they just saw the snake moving and they followed the snake and ended up in this community. And for a while, the snake was there to protect them and help them find their way until they eventually became a full-blown community. And then the snake went their way and the people started living like an interdependent society. So the people agreed not to harm the snake because the snake did not harm them. Instead, the snake protected them and gave them a home or something like that. Then there was a particular story about how a family was robbed and the snake protected the baby from thieves. And since then, they decided not to kill the snake. Oh, this is just a few of the legend that I heard then. I might be wrong because I'm sure that the older people in the society would have a more concrete account of why they ended up not killing the snakes or why they ended up keeping the snakes as a sacred symbol of their community. So do let me know what you think and let me know about any other culture where they also don't kill snakes too, because I'm sure this practice is very rampant across Africa.